Tonight's episode of the 31st Lap Podcast is brought to you by DIRTtrackdigest.com. If it's on dirt, it's on Dirt Track Digest.
This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the 31st Lap Podcast. Excited to have all you folks along for the ride this evening. Going to be a quick one. We're going to be jumping through episode number 258 because all of the attention right now is currently on Brewerton Speedway. All of the time trials have concluded up there at Oswego as part of Super Dirt Week, and they have now headed on their way over to the Brewerton Speedway for the Hurricane 100. Tomorrow night, we're going to have all the qualifying races up there. That's going to set the rest of the field for the Salute to the Troops 150, the Chevy Performance 75, the Pro Stock 50, and the Whittaker Used Cars 200. It's scheduled for Sunday for all the big blocks. So there's lots of action still to come. You heard the mention of Dirt Track Digest there at the beginning of the show. They're the presenting sponsor of the Modifies over there at the Utica-ROme Speedway. They've been with us forever, of course, since Mike Mallett, he was here part of the show. For a long, long time. Excited to be working with them once we get up there to Super Dirt Week. We're going to be doing a bunch of pre-shows with them. We're going to be live with you guys on Facebook on Friday afternoon, a couple shows on Saturday to set the stage and recap what happened, and then likewise going to be doing the same thing on Sunday. So looking forward to getting out there and hanging out with everybody as we work through Super Dirt Week. Going backwards in time just a little bit, congratulations out to Mike Maresca for picking up his first big 200-lap victory. That was the Outlaw 200 over there at Fulton Speedway. Kyle Inman, former guest of the show, picking up a win on the sportsman side of things. So congratulations out to those guys. But again, the big news of the week is Super Dirt Week. They had the parade through the city of Oswego scheduled for yesterday. There's been 358 satellite action happening all week long. The official pregame show, as they called it, was at Utica-ROme Speedway. Matt Williamson went wire to wire in that one. He won everything. And Larry White was probably the guy that was best in line to challenge him for that one, but he ended up grenading the motor late in the race. The thing went up in smoke, and that set the stage for a couple restarts, which let Eric Rudolph work his way up through the top five, but I think he ran out of car. It just seemed like the car wasn't nearly as fast, and Matt Williamson was certainly on fire as well in his own right, coming away with the win in that one. That was a 100-lap duration, 4,000 to win. On the sportsman side of things, Matt Jancic, he had a mishap in the middle of the race. He and Kyle Inman were battling it out, and there were some issues on both of the cars. They both went to the pits, had to work their way back up, and Inman didn't really factor back in. Shoot his way up through the field, but he didn't factor into the outcome quite the way that he probably had hoped. Kevin Root ended up getting the win, but more importantly, Matt Jancic was trying to make his way up through, got caught up in a wreck, it tore the car to pieces. Lucky he didn't get hurt. AJ Philbeck in the A1 ended up rolling over, coming out of turn number 4. Several cars involved, extended red flag in that one. And Jancic car totaled, so he had to shift to another ride. He hooked up with Tom Juneau, and if you're following along what happened at Weedsport last night, congratulations to Matt Jancic coming over the win in the Tom Juneau car, and it was Larry White picking up a win in the 358, the DIRTcar 358 series event over there with those guys. So at Weedsport as well, Matt Jancic and Kyle Inman, who we just mentioned, both of them doing double duty at Utica-ROme Speedway. Jancic, in addition to driving his own 33 car, was in the Heinz-owned number 18, which is one of the 358 cars. He got in that car earlier this year when they had that modified open as well, and then Kyle Inman was driving the number 86 over there in the 358 division when they had that 100-lapper. Both of them ended up making it into the main field. Obviously, they didn't perform quite up to the same standard as what we saw from Matt Williamson and Eric Rudolph, but their time will come. Jancic, he's got some modified experience in his own right, and Kyle Inman certainly flexed a little bit of muscle and showed that he knew how to at least get around Utica-ROme Speedway nonetheless. So we'll be keeping an eye on those guys, see if they might jump in and do a little more double duty as we work through this week. Again, tonight, right now, the Hurricane 100, that field trying to take shape. Tomorrow night is going to be that series of qualifying races. For the first time, the Pro Stocks have qualifying races on Friday night, the Friday Night Lights program, and that's going to set the rest of their field. And we're also going to be seeing several sportsman heats in addition to the regular gamut of 20-lap and 30-lap features for the 358s and for the big blocks. Today, up there in Oswego, I keep wanting to say up at the mile, but that was not the case. Billy Whittaker set the fast time. This is the 8th time in his career that he set quick time for the various iterations of the 200-lap modified Crown Jewel event during Super Dirt Week. Billy Whittaker lapped the track 20.316 seconds. Matt Shepard, Matt Williamson in your top 3. Also locking into the top 6. Tim Fuller, Anthony Perego, and Justin Hares locking into the top 6. There's other notables back there through the top 10. Jimmy Phelps, Larry White, Billy Dunn, Mike Mahaney in the top 10. Dwayne Howard coming in with an 11th place effort. Dave Marcichelli on the clock's 12th. Mark Johnson, Eric Rudolph 14th. Ryan Susi, Max McLaughlin, Chris Heil, Tom Sears, and Stuart Friesen, Peter Britton rounding out the top 20. Jack Lehner just missing that top 20 cut. On the 358 side of things, the top 6 locking in with a lap of 20.948. That was Jimmy Phelps. He's going to be sitting on the pole. Eric Rudolph, who's been so strong all year in the 358 division, he's going to roll off outside the front row with the top 6 locked in. Tim Fuller, Dave Marcichelli, and Matt Williamson in your top 5. Also locking in was Todd Root, coming in with 5th. Back through the top 10, Billy Whittaker, Chris Heil, Demetrios Drelos, and Mike Maresca rounding out your top 10. And back through 20th, like we did before, Gary Lindbergh, Anthony Perego, Justin Harris, Billy Dunn, Corey Wheeler, Billy Decker 16th, Tim Sears, Ronnie Davis the 3rd, 18th, David Hebert, and Pat Ward rounding out your top 20. Mike Mahaney sitting back there in 23rd as well. Mike Mahaney had a good run over there at Utica-ROme Speedway when the 358s were there Tuesday night. So fast forward now past that Saturday. That is when we start naming champions for this year's Super Dirt Week. That's going to be the 358 Modified Championship. That's a 150-lap salute to the troops that is on deck there. It's going to be a fun one. Last chance showdowns for all of those are going to be held in the morning leading up to the 2 o'clock start for the salute to the troops. Saturday night is that new Win You're In format. That's over at the Fulton Speedway. And they're going to have a bunch of racing going on over there. The modifieds are going to be split into 2 25-lap features. It's going to be $1,000 and $500 to win each of those. The top 10 advance into the final feature. They're going to have a 12-lap last chance showdown race that's going to advance another 4 cars into the 50-lap feature. That 50-lap feature is paying $4,000 to win, and it's also going to give you that final starting spot in the Billy Whittaker Used Cars 200 coming up on Sunday. So that event is open to any driver as well. So it's the first non-qualified driver, so to say. I don't know how many guys are going to bring their modifieds over there and run that risk, but you know it's potential that you could see a whole pretty good field. They got a nice payout for that one. Again, it's been held in different iterations. It's been at Rolling Wheels. It's been at Weedsport before that as well. So cool that they've restructured a little bit, made it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more lucrative, and hopefully more drivers get out there to support that race over there at Fulton. And I believe they've got the 360s. Yeah, the 360s are going to be over there as well. So Sunday's lineup, the Chevy Performance 75, Shane Pecor won that race last year. That goes off at 11 o'clock, the DIRTcar Pro Stock 50, which last year, what a race that was. Rob Yetman trying to get another win in the Pro Stock division. He was charging up through and ended up spinning around. Wasn't a factor. And it came down to Chuck Domblewski and C.D. Beauchamp. Coming off the last corner, C.D. got a fender on the leader. Domblewski drifted up the track, drag race off that final corner, and Beauchamp took the win in the Pro Stock 50. Always an entertaining race, and I'm sure this year is going to deliver just as strong. We had to see a little bit more Pro Stocks. Like we said, they're going to have their qualifying races on Friday night as well. And then last chance races will be on Sunday, helping set the field for that Pro Stock 50. So Sportsman at 11, DIRTcar Pro Stocks are going to follow that, and then that leads to the 2 o'clock start for the Billy Whittaker Cars 200. Again, 2 o'clock there, $50,000. Larry White won that last year. The 358 race last year was won by Peter Britton, and as we said, Shane Pecor and C.D. Beauchamp winning the the Sportsman and Pro Stock races, respectively, for themselves. So, jump online. There's a bunch of information to be had there on superdirtweek.com. Just punch in Super Dirt Week. It'll bring you right to it. Tons of stuff there. More racing to come, as we said tonight. Brewerton, we're gonna get this done and out of the way so that everybody doesn't have to choose between one event or the other. And then we'll be back with you Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, and Sunday night with some more action and some recaps following up and some interviews on what all is happening up there in Oswego. We're going to be up there all week long. So, like we said, it's a quick hitter. We generally try and keep it quick during Super Dirt Week. It leaves us something to talk about with all the action that has been happening and some of the analysis and such that is forthcoming. Outlaw Speedway, they've got some action coming up for their Fall Nationals. The Dutch Hogue Fall Nationals are going to be the 20th and the 21st, so they're coming up on the backside of this. There's a bunch more racing for the Super Dirt Car Series. We're going to dive into all that stuff when we're up there on site in Oswego for Super Dirt Week. That's going to do it for us here tonight. We do appreciate all the folks that continue to tune in and support everything that we do here with the 31st lap at FingerLakes1.com. That is going to do it for us in the North Park Building in Academy Square. We'll see you in Oswego.